Hey guys, welcome to Comfy Cozy Up. So today is more of a what am I reading, what am I up to kind of deal. I did not record this week because I've been writing, but we'll talk about that in a few. So what did I finish? I finished The Address by Fiona Davis. Now this is a historical fiction, but it's also a mystery, and it surrounds this grand apartment complex, but it's run like a hotel. So we start with Sarah, and this was in 1880s, and Sarah was a head maid at this hotel in England. While she was there was a family there and a child that was in danger, and she saved the child's life. And her reward was from the husband, who is an architecture, who was building this grand apartment complex, the Dakota House, and he wanted to hire her to run and do the same thing she was doing at the hotel he met her at. However, when she got there, she realized her role was going to be bigger. She was going to be a female head manager for the complex. Now, while she is there, and finding meeting the people that works there and finding her way around the place, and all the other things that comes with her responsibility, the people who are going to be living there, that kind of deal. She embarked on an affair with the husband, and this affair caused other things to happen, and she ended up in an asylum, in what we call Blackwell Island Asylum. Now I had to Google this because I was like, what? Turned out it is Roosevelt Island. It is a woman facility that was very harsh, and women were thrown in there who weren't crazy, that did not meet the description of someone who's there. If you were accused of being a thief, if you were accused of doing something, that was what they would do to you and put in there. There is a long story behind it. I didn't really dig much more of why this island was so notorious for this, and what was their actual mission, because it was very brutal and very hardened for these women who were in these places that shouldn't be there. They did not have any mental illness. While this is happening, you are it's like a certain kind of journey you want with a character. Then you go now to the 100 years later, because the story does go back and forth from the 1880s to the 1980s, so a 100-year difference. We have a character named Bailey, and she is a recovering drug addict, alcoholic. She just came out of rehab, and she's in a bind, and she ends up taking a job to be that her friend offer her for this same place, the Dakota home, but now it's 100 years later and it needs repair. So she's a manager that's going to be helping the process of the repair that needs to be done. While she's there, she's going through old things, photos, things, and finding more secrets of the story behind Sarah and what happened at the Dakota 100 years earlier. And you learn that very early on in the synopsis, that a murder took place, but you don't know what happened, why the murder took place, all of that. So you're learning that in the story of who did it, why it was done, that kind of deal. This is one of those stories that is why you should not be a mistress, why you need to leave people man alone. It's because this is how Sarah got herself completely messed up in this, is being a mistress, and all the things that happened with different characters who became her downfall, and who, then you have the 1980s, and you have Bailey, who's digging, and be careful what you dig for, because you might dig for things that that might not be good for you, that kind of deal. Overall, I would have to say the first 100 page, it's like nothing, because it was just basically Sarah leaving England, coming to New York, looking at the place, finding out the place, meeting these people. Then you have Bailey. Okay, she's trying to get her life together. She has this job. That first 100 page could have been condensed down a bit. But after you surpass the 100 page, you get into the nitty gritty. It was really good. It was a page turner. The mystery, you just kind of like, ooh, what happened here? Did this person really do this? You're questioning everything, which is what you want in a mystery. So it really is like perfect as far as the suspense, because certain things that was happening you kind of figure certain things out, but you just don't know why would that be the cause, or why would that happen, that kind of deal. And there's some secrets that were revealed that I didn't see coming. It was kind of like very surprising for me, where I was like, ooh, you know, that kind of deal. And it deals with wealth. It deals with family line, and it toys with mental health in a way where you're thinking a character truly crazy, or if they're not, but you're not sure. So I like how the author toy with that there's moments where some character and then even afterwards you're questioning still the mental health of some character, and it ties in with generational things as well. Enjoy this. Again, I would have given it a strong certain rating, but I can't, because again, the beginning I felt like there were some parts of it that could have been cut out. But it's a mystery, and I think that's what happened with a lot of mysteries. It's like they give you clues in the beginning, but they drag it in a way where you still have to pay attention, because if you know, if you don't pay attention, you will miss certain clues that ties up to something that goes on later on in the book. So yeah, but not bad. Again, stay away from Married Man, because then you won't end up with Sarah mess. So that's how I have with this. And then we have my writing stuff. Now, you guys know I've been doing NaNoWriMo since 2018, and I did a short story collection which was 9 stories, and I was working on it throughout the year after, and never quite finished. Then I started a new project which I love, which was probably my most ambitious project, because it's a 3-character perspective, and it's a little bit harder to really link them together and how it is, but it's a generational thing. And all my stories are Caribbean romance, but they also have a lot of family saga in the midst of the story. And that one, I went into a different direction as I was writing it, and never quite finished the ending. I did not know how to end this book. So I'm currently now reading it over. I am 290 something pages. Yeah. And I am still going through it. I'm not even at the halfway point yet, where I am not doing a full-on editing, but just a soft and adding notes of what I want to do, so I can figure out how to end this. That is my mission. But I love that I'm in that mindset now that I want to do this. Like, I'm not feeling like I'm forcing myself to. It's like I'm like looking forward to reading the story, because I forgot how good I felt about this story, and to still have that same love and passion for the story, I'm glad that I can do that. And while I'm reading it, I'm like, oh yeah, you know. Then the 3rd story I did complete, but there was things that I needed to fix as far as the timeline, and I did not complete that yet. So that still needs to get done, but I'm going to focus on this 2nd one, because that's the one that needs an ending. And once I get the ending, I can feel a little better putting it to the side, because that's what I've been doing, guys. I write and I put it to the side, and I need to stop doing that and take another step. So this one I'm going to continue, and I've been doing that every day this week, of going through the pages and hoping an ending. I come up with an ending that I'm going to really love. And this never happened to me. I'm always know what how I'm gonna end. And this one was a struggle, because I went a completely different direction that I had not intended on doing it when I started. And I don't want to go back, because I actually like the direction I went. I just never thought about how I was gonna end it. So yeah. So that is it for my writing update. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I love that I'm in a mood, and the weather is getting better. I can't wait for me to start writing outside, because that would make it even better to be able to write outside. And hopefully one day I can share these and not shove them over here in my stock, you know, of drafts. But yeah, if you guys are into, you know, right, because I know a few people we're doing a NaNoWriMo project. How is that going? And what is your motivation to keep pushing and and edit after NaNoWriMo, because I'm a person that also, I like deadlines. I am a deadline person. I am a scheduling person. Like, I feel like when I have a deadline and I commit to doing something, and I said I'm gonna do it this such and such, I stick to it. And I think that's why NaNoWriMo was easier for me, and why I've been able to have success every NaNoWriMo I've done, because it's like a commitment. I made a commitment. I'm sticking to it. I do that. But when NaNoWriMo is not happening, or there's nothing that is like no schedule or no commitment that I put on myself, I tend to not push myself to complete stuff, and I prolong it, and then I end up months later like, what happened? We're in March, and I should have been in this moment from January, and now I'm just in it now. So I'm trying not to beat myself up about it, but at least I'm doing it. But it's just so hard to do things when I don't have a commitment or a timeline attached to it. I need timeline. That is my personality, because I like challenge. I like to know there's a date, I need to do this, blah blah blah. That's me. So yeah, so we're gonna end this, and yeah, and I'm gonna get back to editing and get something to eat, and I will have another video for Tuesday. I'm not sure exactly what the video is going to be, but I'm trying to make a, to do 2 videos a week, and hopefully you guys watch. I was on a romance kick. I was on a heavy romance kick, and so the last 3 videos were romance. So hopefully you guys check them out, because they're different kind of romance. They're completely different kind of subgenres in the romance that I've read and discussed. So go check them out, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.